Good morning and welcome back. It's early February and I woke up on this Saturday morning at 6 a.m. The reason being, I'm off to see Joe and my Bonneville. I'm going to get a complete update on exactly what's going on with the Bonneville, the current stage we're at the moment, and I want to do a complete timeline. Where did all the issues start? What's happened in the meantime to get to this point now? What are the plans for the bike as it stands now for the next couple of weeks? And what do we, Joe and myself, want to get from the Bonneville? Because things have evolved slightly. It's not just going to be repairing this specific issue. There will be a few changes to the bike. So we'll run through all of those, show you what the plans are, and I'll try and do a costing as well. What the Bonneville's cost me over the past 8 to 9 months or so. I just did a tot up about an hour ago and it's quite eye-opening, so I'll share that with you. I also want to show you Joe's garage, and there may be too much content, so I may split it into 2 videos. One Bonneville update, one little garage tour, and I may get to try some of Joe's bikes out. Anyway, I'm 20 minutes late. I want to get there at 10 o'clock. But it's 3 hours up north, this drive, so I better hit the road. One good thing, it's still very early, so there should be no traffic at all. Let's go. I made it. I'm in Joe's workshop. First time I've seen the Bonneville. This is, to confirm, the Bonneville. I almost did a double take. I filmed with Joe now, just doing a reaction to walking in, and Emily was filming in the corner. And I was looking around for all of the different parts for the bike. Joe, can you give an update? I know that you've got your channel here, and I'll put it up here, which most people have been following. Give an update where we are.
So I got the bike from you, like you say, December. I didn't start working on it until after Christmas. So it was sat here, waiting for me to demolish a wall. Then we started looking into it here, trying to think what the first issue we found was. So we had...
Your first point of contact was sort the charging issue out, as opposed to sort the engine out.
Yes, that was correct. So I did a base check of this idling, charging and free revving up to around 4,000 RPM where you should get peak voltage, and you were charging at 13.7 volts flat. So that indicated to me there was a problem somewhere. I did the check on the alternator. We determined that was absolutely fine, no problems there. So the only thing that leaves is either bad wiring or the rectifier. I'm not confident that rectifier is happy, so...
I can just pick bits off the shelf here because behind me, these are all bits from the Bonneville. That's the old rectifier. Can you just hold up the MOSFET one?
Yes.
Because this is really interesting. Old charging system, can I call it that?
Yeah, so it's an older technology.
Compared to the brand new MOSFET one, which is significantly more...
So they run distinctly hotter.
Good the way it works.
And as you're running, for example, Morocco or somewhere like that, the hotter you get, the less efficient that gets, and I'm confident that is breaking down. So we've moved over to a MOSFET, which is standard equipment now on all Triumphs, on a lot of manufacturers, Yamaha. That's now wired in to your original alternator. We've now got a standalone fuse in here, rather than it come via the bike system. So it all sits on its own.
Oh, this is new, the bracket here. Yeah.
So all that's in, it stands on its own. It's also not connected onto the battery, so if you want to remove the battery, you don't got to worry about extra cables. I did then the base test when I was doing the adaptions outside, and you've now got 14.4 volts at all RPMs.
Which is perfect.
Which is perfect.
So charging done.
Yeah, so that's fixed.
Then this, make it as simple as possible for the viewers. how far can we tell? How far are you along with your process? Can we share? This will go out in about a week's time or
Yeah, that's
something.
fine, because my video comes out tomorrow.
Okay, Joe, break it down. What have you found?
So once I'd done that, I put it on Tune ECU, and I found that we had, I can't remember the code now, P1048, I think it was. If not, I'll tell you the code, you can put it on the screen. So that was for the barometric pressure sensor. So that is a sensor that tells you the ambient pressure in the air that your bike is trying to use for combustion. That was voltage high or sensor failure. If it does that, then it defaults to altitude. So then you end up running damn sight richer than you should be. I had a spare sensor on the shelf, luckily. Fitted
Very
that.
luckily.
The fault went away. That was corrected. I then put your old sensor back on just to make sure it wasn't just a spurious error. Fault comes back. So your sensor was dead for whatever reasons. That would be there's like a diaphragm and something else in there. So, or it could be just dirt damage or whatever. I also checked the wiring for that just to make sure it wasn't just an odd loose wire somewhere. That's fixed. We then come to the map sensor. So you have, it's exactly the same sensor as a part, but it reads the pressure that the engine is drawing in. Those were fine as in terms of wiring, but then the pipes that lead onto the intake, which are down here, there was a repair done to this side, which I checked back in your videos, and it hasn't always been that way.
You were actually looking through my old videos to see if you could pinpoint when this pipe, this wire had been replaced.
And where we were at, and whether it was a potential, you know, the cut-off point when you said to me, it was running okay in Morocco, and then you had your issues. There was definitely an issue with this pipe, but they were all, it's common with Triumphs, they split, they degrade, so they do need replacing over time. So those have been replaced and they're all good and happy.
Why, Joe? Why is the top off? This is the bit.
That's the crux.
We had a chat 2 days ago.
Yes.
This is really fascinating because it's taken so much diagnostic work from your point of view to come to that eureka moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have to factor in as well, so you also got that air leak on the other side. Due to, we don't know what's wrong there in terms of whether there's an O-ring missing, a broken O-ring, or just an old seal that's been refitted. But there's definitely an air leak on that side, on that intake. Then you come to the cam timing. So I took the top end off and this right-hand generator cover in here. On that generator, I'll send you a photo, you can include that. There are two marks, so you line up a mark with a casting on the engine, and then you should have the centre gear here should say top at the top. In your instance, it didn't. What that ultimately meant was the cam timing was 3 teeth out.
And you've told me that is significant.
Yeah, so, yeah, again, Chris, Ultimate Twin Power, had a good chat with him about it.
I'll put his page up here and I'll go and see him. Ultimate Twin Power.
Yeah.
That's Chris. They do modifications for Triumphs, and they also, I mean, he knows his stuff with all Triumphs, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He was adamant there's no way there should be anything seriously wrong with this engine, so he's been giving you a bit of help as well along the way.
He had lined up replacement cylinders and pistons just in case for us to purchase, but he was like, I don't think you're going to need them. He said, really, I've never seen one with ball wear issues. I've seen them with 100,000+ miles on them. I can't see you having the problem.
They're meant to be bulletproof engines, relatively speaking, aren't they?
He says, and with this, because they're so soft in terms of the cam that's fitted, so they're not aggressive, he says, it's not a stressed engine. And he aligned with my thoughts that it's got to be cam timing, which ultimately it turned out it was.
Out of interest, all of my running problems I've had where it's been lumpy, can we simplify it and say most of it would have come from the cam timing being off?
Yeah, the majority of it would be from the cam timing. Obviously it's not helped by the air leak and the pressure sensor issues, but they're issues and they would need fixing, and you would notice a difference with those. Ultimately, because of the issue with that plug repair, we've now got to replace the cylinder head, which is why it's all got to come apart.
Okay, I'm going to do, let me show you, because this isn't going to be standard. Before we talk for an hour, I want to show you, because this isn't going to be a standard fit back of everything. Here's what we're considering and what we've got. Yep, this is the one. That, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, is a straight through exhaust. But this came out of the Triumph factory. It's called a Taurus exhaust. The difference between mine, it looks exactly the same, but it's freer flowing. That's under consideration. We need to decide.
If you grab that, you can see the comparison of the two ends.
We need to decide if I'm going to put that on. It's slightly louder. I don't usually do loud exhausts, but that's meant to improve things. So that's under consideration. On top of that, yes, Joe, explain what these are.
So those are 1967 to 1969 spec T120 export handlebars in stainless steel.
And you can see they're wider, maybe 3 centimetres, 4 centimetres wider.
They're a touch wider. The profile changes, so they end up a little bit wider.
And they're pulled back, actually, aren't they, a bit? That is so good. I mean, that's when you hold it, that's a significant difference.
Yeah. It looks subtle when you hold them together. You really wouldn't think it would make such a difference, but they do.
So that's one thing I had to have. I was delighted with that. On top of that, we've got, I'll do a bit of B-roll to show this, but without bringing everything over.
I'll bring it.
Yes. A whole load of stuff from Triumph Twin Power. This is going to be a slight engine upgrade. It's called, in essence, a Stage 1 tune.
Oh, no, that's the safe stock.
I've got lots of boxes like this. I'll just do it for presentation purposes. We've got a whole load of boxes that I'll do the B-roll of now. And what they all do is a Stage 1 upgrade. So a bit more horsepower, cleaner running, and they just make everything better. And what we've got here,
I'll give you that one.
We'll switch, is
new cylinder head. So that will fix your spark plug issue and the reason we need a base gasket.
From a 4,000 mile Triumph Bonneville. So it will just be like mine, but much better without the broken thread.
And shiny on the engine.
And shiny on. God, I forgot what it looked like. Look at the difference in that. And we also have new badges from Triumph, and that's because the old one, unfortunately from Canada, is slightly damaged. So we've ended up going for these ones. That will go on the side. And we are, I'll just check that's pretty much everything.
You've got your Stage 1 kit, there's gaskets and seals.
Oh, I'll hold that just to show you a few of the extra bits. We've got gaskets, we've got seals, Stage 1 induction kit. This will all help make the engine better. In fact, what's going to happen in essence with this bike, it will be, when I get it back, like my Bonneville, just slightly more modern, slightly better, and slightly smoother. Better in every way. The brakes are going to be done, the fork seals are going to be done, the liquids are going to be changed, there's so much stuff you've got to do. On top of the engine, you're doing a complete refresh of the entire bike, in essence.
So we'll rebuild it from the ground up, basically.
Okay, we will. I think that's everything I wanted to say.
We're at 13 hours now. You got any? Does anybody have any guesses as to how many hours we'll be on?
That is, in fact, Joe, that's a perfect place to wrap it up. You've done 13 hours work on this.
Yep.
So it's really true. When Trimoto said it's just uneconomical, it's true, isn't it? It is uneconomical. It makes no sense to fix a bike like this, does it?
Not with the base market price of, if you just wanted a generic Triumph Bonneville in black, the price you could get it online or anywhere really, it just doesn't add up.
It wouldn't make any sense. No. 13 hours worth of labour, parts on top of that. And I mean, this is 13 hours of labour to get to this point.
Yeah.
We're nowhere near the end of it.
No.
So it could easily double. I mean, you'd be looking at a gigantic bill if I were going to a mechanic to get this done.
But it's the difference, isn't it, between deciding that something is not economical to repair or something that cannot be repaired, which was the point we were trying to prove, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. It just shows the value of actually, yes, having a workspace, but more importantly, having mechanical knowledge, because thanks to you, Joe, we're saving this bike that would definitely have been sent to the scrapyard and sold for spares. That really is 100%. There is no way around that at all. I'm hoping, it's hard to put a timeline on because we're waiting the part. What do you think?
Obviously it's hours and time and when it fits in, but I mean, we were aiming for the DGR, so I think we can make that. That's perfectly doable. If we can do sooner, then we'll try and do sooner.
Brilliant. Joe, thank you so much. I think we'll wrap it up there, and I made you a little garage tour of Joe's for another video. So we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much everyone for watching this. It feels amazing to see it.
You were shocked.
I was shocked. This is the most broken down the bike's ever been, probably since it was brand new. It's never been stripped down this much, and it will continue to get stripped down more. So it will be a complete refresh of the bike. I cannot wait. Thank you all for coming along. See you all in the next one.